well done. We celebrate your legendary father, Hage. We celebrate your legendary father.
Standing for the singing of the national anthems. Please be seated. Your Excellency, Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, President of the Republic of Namibia and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, who is also a special guest for tonight, Honorable Peter Kachavivi, Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable John Motora, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works and Transport, Madam Monica Geingob, our former First Lady, you're most welcome, the children of our late President, Dr. Audrin Mathe, the author of the book whose launch we are witnessing today, executive directors, chief executive officers from various organizations, esteemed excellences from various embassies, captains of industries, invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. That is not the sound the late president would have liked as a response. Good evening. Very good. My name is George Simata. I'll be your Director of Ceremonies for this very short but exciting program. Welcome to the book launch entitled The Whispers of Freedom, the Political Odyssey of Hage Geingob. This is the book about the life of our late president, the people's president, our own president, that I would not be at fault to describe as the likable president, the most likable one. It is written by Dr. Audrin Mathe. The primary purpose of the book is to give the reader a better understanding of who President Geingob was, based on several interviews, interactions that Dr. Mathe has made with other people, including Dr. Geingob himself. It also discusses some of the key defining moments in the life of President Geingob, including but not limited his roles in the United Nations in New York, his roles here in Zambia at the United Nations Institute for Namibia, which you are all very familiar. Therefore, it is with immense joy and a touch of excitement that we gather here tonight to celebrate this culmination of hard work and passion. I want to thank each one of you for coming to us as we unveil this new story, ready to engage our minds and hearts. At this juncture, please join me in giving a thunderous round of applause to Dr. Mathe for doing such a stunning job. Now, who is Dr. Mathe? Why does he have authority to write about this giant called Hage Geingob? Does he have authority to do so, small as he is, to write about a huge man? In English, they would use many words: a colossal man, a gigantic man, a big man, but with a very good heart too. Mathe is the current Executive Director of the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology in Namibia. He previously served in various portfolios, including the Executive Director, also the Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Service. He also served as the Chief Executive Officer of New Era Publications Corporation. He was also Chief of News and Programming at our National Broadcasting Corporation, the spokesperson of 2 consecutive prime ministers. He has survived Comrade Hage Geingob. He also survived Theo Ben-Gurion. So it shows that maybe based on his credentials, he could have been classified as an expert communicator. Hence, the 2 prime ministers were able to keep him. He holds numerous qualifications from various universities, including a PhD degree. So it is no doubt, maybe that's why he was able to do this, what we are witnessing today. Besides his formal qualifications, he also do extramural activities. He's a sports fanatic. As you see him there, he has a black belt in karate. Many of you may not know. Please don't try him. If you do, you are in trouble. Tonight we have a very short program, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency. As you might have seen on the program, it is not a long one, but really a very short one, where we really launched the book for Dr. Audrin Mathe, which he wrote about our late president. Without wasting much time, I would like to invite Honorable Professor Peter Kachavivi, the Speaker of the National Assembly, to do the welcoming remarks. Professor Kachavivi, may I kindly invite you to the podium, please.
Thank you very much. I was listening to our dear George telling us how our author has survived. I thought that was a very interesting phrase to use. Director of the program, Dr. George Simata, Secretary to Cabinet, Your Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, President of the Republic of Namibia, our Chief Guest of Honor, Madam Monica Kenkos, our former First Lady, Ms. Nangula Kenkos, daughter of our late President, Dr. Hage Geingob, and the rest of the children and family members here present, Dr. Audrin, Mathe, the author of the book that we're here to witness, that tell the story about our president, our late president, Hage Geingob. We are here to witness the launch of this important account that capture certain aspects of our late president. Invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, let me thank you all for coming to grace this important event. I have a simple and straightforward task, that being to welcome you all here this evening. In the last few months, we have witnessed a number of books that were launched by eminent persons in our country, documenting accounts of their life journeys, some of which intertwine with our country's liberation struggle. Recently, we have a book launched by His Excellency, Dr. Hifikepunye Pohamba, and of course followed by, later by Dr. George Simata, our Cabinet Secretary. Indeed, factual is about the question of depth, and it's a question of detail that meant to inform current and future generations. It is this in mind that, by way of looking back, I recounted my own story that we put together in 1979. And I had this to say about the need to document our history, our lives as a people, in order to pass on the legacy to the younger generation of our country. Writing, documenting is something that is extremely, extremely important. This would hopefully inform many people at home and abroad, tell them about the true roots of our nation. Where have we come from, the various stages that we have passed through, and our ambition as we confront the future. But confronting that future with a sense of purpose and with confidence. As the African proverb goes, until the lions have the historians, the tales of hunting will always glorify the hunter. This is very common. When you look at events in Africa, particularly in Africa, those have told various aspects of life in the past where those who have taken over our continent in pieces, as colonies, as whatever, and until we were able to regain our dignity and have control over our lives, That story was always to glorify those who invaded the African continent. It is against this background that in 1979, I had this to say in one of our many SWAPO party publications, one of which is entitled "To Be Born a Nation, the Liberation Struggle for Namibia." That was published in 1981. And I quote myself, there is much that remains to be done, not least to close the last chapter of the liberation struggle itself. That meant, however, will only herald the beginning of the new task of nation construction, a new era of control over our own lives, a time when we are free of imperialist domination. We can begin not only to write, but to make our own history. It is in that context that we are saying, reflecting on our own future, our lives, events that are important to ourselves as a people need to be documented. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to plead and encourage many of us to write in order to contribute to documenting our experiences and the challenges of our time in order to enrich our archives, our libraries, our information centers across this vast country of ours. That is important because we want to have sources that reflect our character as a nation. That is the character that defines who we are as people of this country, one Namibia, one nation. This could be done individually or collectively as we reflect on our national, continental, and global trajectory towards the future. Let me thank the author for his energy and dedication to produce this book as he reflects on our late president, Dr. Hage Geingob. Of course, there is still a great deal to be said and to be documented about this great son of Namibia. This is just the beginning. Hopefully, inspiring and encouraging the rest of us to pick up a pen and spend a moment in putting few ideas on a piece of paper. It requires a sense of commitment and a vision in terms of what is it that we want to contribute to inspire the rest of our citizens, and particularly the young generation of today's Namibia. That all said and done and dusted, on behalf of the organizing committee, I take this opportunity to warmly welcome you all here and urge you to
for us to write books. If that story was not written, and that book has sold 2 million books now. It was written in 2009. It's the bestseller. So the story has gone now wide all over. So that's the advantage of book writing of putting everything on documentations. Without wasting more of your time, I would like to follow the program. And at this juncture, the program says we are going to view for 5 minutes some few pictures of our late president. May I ask those that are responsible to run the pictures to please to do so. Thereafter, I would like to ask Nangi to prepare to come and perform her duties after the pictures are done. Please run the pictures for us.
Like a dream come true.
A leader, a freedom fighter, and a nation builder, Hage Geingob dedicated his life to the service of Namibia. His story is one of resilience, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to unity and progress. This is the life of Hage Geingob. Hage Gottfried Geingob was born on August 3, 1941 in the district of Grootfontein, Namibia, then known as Southwest Africa. His journey in education began in Otavi in 1948, but it was at Augustinian College in 1958 where his political consciousness was first awakened. As a student, he led a strike against unfair treatment, an early sign of the bold leadership that would define his life. In 1961, Geingob completed his teacher training and began teaching in Tsumeb, but his true calling was politics. In 1962, he officially joined the Southwest Africa People's Organization, SWAPO, the liberation movement fighting for Namibia's independence. By December 1962, Geingob had no choice but to leave Namibia, seeking exile in Botswana. His journey for liberation took him across continents, from the Congo to the United States. In 1964, he received a scholarship to study at Temple University in the United States. He went on to earn a bachelor's degree in political science from Fordham University in 1970 and a master's degree in international relations from the New School for Social Research in 1974. While in the United States, he also became SWAPO's representative to the United Nations and Americas, advocating tirelessly for Namibia's independence. In 1966, as the international struggle for Namibia's independence gained momentum, Geingob joined the United Nations Council for Namibia as a political affairs officer. Recognizing his leadership, SWAPO appointed him as the first director of the United Nations Institute for Namibia in Lusaka, Zambia, a position he held from 1975 to 1989. His mission was clear: to prepare Namibians for governance after independence, and when that moment came, Geingob was ready. Under UN Security Council Resolution 435, Geingob led SWAPO's return from exile in 1989. In that same year, Geingob spearheaded SWAPO's campaign for the UN-supervised election. The primary purpose of the United Nations Resolution 435 was to hold free and fair elections for electing the Constituent Assembly that would draft the constitution of the independent Namibia. Geingob played a pivotal role in drafting Namibia's constitution as the chairman of the Constituent Assembly, laying the foundation for democracy. It was on the 9th of February 1990 that the 72-member Constituent Assembly unanimously adopted the Namibian Constitution. On March 21, 1990, Namibia gained independence. Geingob was appointed as the country's first prime minister, charged with dismantling the apartheid-era administration and building a government for all Namibians. He served as prime minister for 12 years before briefly stepping away from frontline politics. But in 2005, he returned, first as SWAPO's chief whip, then as Minister of Trade and Industry in 2008. In 2012, he was reappointed as Prime Minister, and 2 years later, he was elected as Namibia's third president. As president, Hage Geingob focused on strengthening Namibia's governance and economy. He introduced the Harambee Prosperity Plan to drive economic and social development, ensuring that no one should feel left out of the Namibian House. He positioned Namibia as a global leader in renewable energy, advocating for Africa's role in sustainable energy, and established the Volvicia Sovereign Wealth Fund to secure Namibia's resources for future generations. Throughout his leadership, he championed national unity under the principles of one Namibia, one nation, and inclusivity spells harmony, exclusivity spells conflict. For Geingob, no Namibian should ever feel left behind. In January 2024, Hage Geingob publicly shared his battle with cancer. Just weeks later, on February 4th, he passed away, leaving behind a nation in mourning. Namibia lost a leader, a visionary, and a patriot, but his legacy lives on in the democratic foundations he built, in the policies he championed, and in the spirit of unity he nurtured. A father of the nation, a champion of democracy, a man who gave his all for Namibia.
Hage Geingob, we celebrate your legendary father.
I'm not going to dilute that. Let me just invite Nangula Geingob to come and give her remarks. Nangula.
Wow, what a man. I miss him every day. People have been coming up to me lately, and I think they are saying something, they think they're saying something good, but they tell me, oh, you look just like your father. And my only takeaway is that, so basically I look like a man. I also kind of sound like one, so it is what it is. Good evening, everyone. Director of Ceremonies, His Excellency, Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, Honorable Speaker, Peter Kachavivi, Honorable Deputy Minister, Prime Minister, former First Lady, and the man of the hour, Dr. Audrin Mathe. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Tonight, I decided to recite a poem that I wrote a while ago. Audrin is not the only one to produce a literary work of art. Please feel free to snap your fingers when appropriate. My father's hands. Strong hands, large hands, protective and embracing, expressive in their gestures, elegant yet defensive, graceful in their movements, fingers tapping pensively, wise hands, kind hands, warm hands that cradle dreams, intellectual hands that craft national blueprints, humorous hands that spark laughter, hands that mold and shape, hands that support, discipline, nurture, and guide, sophisticated hands, welcoming and adoring hands, evidenced by the rhythmic pats, learned and agile carpals, classy in their handling, loving in their embrace, a pointing finger to finish, thumbs up for approval, too much of a gentleman to ever use the middle one. Omake hands, celebrating the wins of others, choir conducting hands, swapo, maniki fist hands, hands that unify us as a nation, helping hands, diplomacy in a firm, fair handshake, a high five to show camaraderie, sport cheering hands, generous palms, open, transparent, and honest, affectionate and assuring grips, steady, never wavering. In every line and curve, a story unfolds, a testament of strength, of love, of resilience. My father's hands, a legacy of paternal care. I celebrated my father's character using his hands as a metaphor, and Dr. Mathe celebrated my father's political contributions through his book, Whispers of Freedom, The Political Odyssey of Hage Geingob. On behalf of the Geingob family, I would like to thank you, Audrin. I have a newfound respect for you. I hear you do have that black belt for real. I will address you differently going forward. I'm sure writing this book was much like carrying a baby for a long time, getting heavy with it, looking forward to its story, sometimes feeling like giving up, but in the end, you've done it. Today is the birth of this book. And if Daddy were here today, he would say, yeah, young man, I'm proud of you. Audrin, I know you didn't achieve this great moment alone. You have an entire team behind you, and we'd like to thank them as well. We'd also like to thank His Excellency for his unwavering support. You've been there for us. Even your presence here tonight, we don't take for granted. At this time, I'd also like to thank our Mama Bear, the mother of the family, former First Lady, Monica. We signal your leadership. We're signaling from your leadership. And you do it so gracefully, and you honor our father in a way that we can never repay you. There's not enough words to say thank you for all you do for us. Thank you to all the family and friends. Thank you to the Namibian community at large. We encourage you to buy this book. I think Audrin feels the stirring in his heart to give the proceeds to the Hage Geingob Presidential Center. I felt that. So everybody, please support the book. We thank you very much. Omake!
Thank you very much, Nangi. She went out of the traditional speeches and gave us a poem. Please give her a round of applause. As we said, this is a very short program. Next on our program is a performance. Can we invite those responsible for that to please make sure we are entertained? Oh, it's a solo. I was looking for a big group to come on the stage. Now it's only one beautiful woman coming next to me. Please go ahead. By the way, she is an excellent performer. One day I was standing, another year, I don't want to say the age, and she came to sing for me at my birthday. I was so happy that just coming there, in 1 second, she was able to compose a song about me. And I'm hopeful that she's going to give us a nice piece now. Please go ahead.
Hage Geingob, Just look at the person next to you and give them a smile. Just a beautiful smile. Thank you so much. Now, this next song is just to, just set a tone, a relaxed, soft vibe. So I hope you enjoy this as you are going to enjoy the meal. There's music in the air. It makes the sorrow go. Let the music take you there. Far from the world you know. You can feel it when I sing. And you know love, yeah. There's a joy in everything. When made for love, if ever someday you come to know your song, I'll show you right. I'll show you way your heart can come along. I can feel it when I sing. I know love. There's joy in everything, everything. When made for love, skabba-dabba-dabba-tay. Look for love in the music, lost in the melody. You'll find love. Come on and look for love in the music, lost in the melody. You'll find love. Skabba-dabba-dabba-tay. Skabba-dabba-tay. There's music in the air. It makes the sorrow bow. Yeah. Let the music take you there. Let the music take you there. Far from the world you know. Yeah. You can feel it when I sing. Then you know love. There's a joy in everything, everything. When made for love, yeah, yeah. Oh, look for love in the music, lost in the melody. You'll find love. Come on and look for love. Look for love. so much. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you very much. That was two nice pieces of music. I could see with the last one, Honorable Jongarero was reminded of her days. This was not for the young ones, it was for the older generations. She was smiling nicely there and singing with the melody. So I think it was an enjoyable music. On the program, we will need to invite Professor Kachavivi to come to the stage to introduce the guest speaker. I am not qualified to invite the first citizen of this country to a stage. That is unheard for in our culture. So I have now asked Professor Kachavivi to spare me that agony to help me to invite His Excellency at an appropriate time. Professor Kachavivi.
Thank you very much. I think George left out something. We made a deal that I will come here and I will perform a song before inviting the President to come and speak to us. But since he left that out, I'm now free not to have to sing. So that commitment is out. We'll renegotiate for some other time. Ladies and gentlemen, I all know so well that the person I'll be invited to come and speak to you does not need an introduction. He's one of our own, well-known Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, long-serving cater in the movement, long-serving member of cabinet for many years in various ministries. If you are talking about experience that has been acquired over a long period of time, then you are going to include His Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba among those Namibian cadres who have been at the forefront of serving in terms of nation building and reconstruction, and in serving, providing the kind of leadership that our country needs. Your Excellency, may I have the great pleasure to invite you to come to the film and address the audience. Thank you.
It's a wonderful thing to be introduced by your senior. Let us sit down. I don't need it. Dr. George Mathe, our Director of Ceremony, but on daily basis, Secretary to Cabinet. My niece, Madam Monica Geingob, those who don't know it from now on. All the Geingobs and Geingoba. Ministers here, Tate Mutorwa, I see Shifeta there, all ministers, deputy ministers, members of parliament, our guest, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Communication and Innovation of the Republic of Botswana, Mr. Poncho Musoitile, distinguished Professor Joseph Philippe Zalazar, Director of the Center of Rhetoric Studies of the University of Cape Town, Chief Executive Officers and Managing Directors of Public and Private Enterprises, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start by saying that, as everybody knows, and when you start with as everybody knows, you do not want anybody to contradict you. As everybody knows, if there is a function, a program, a product that mentions the name Hage Geingob, Nangolo Mbumba will be there. And I'm here. I don't write books. I criticize books. It's safer. You criticize those who are writing. This is not the proper writing, the other one is not the proper writing, and you can get away with anything. Now, when I got first time I saw the book, and I said, Hage Geingob has so many photos. Why this one? So many big photos, nice photos. Why this one? But when I saw this one, I know if you want Hage Geingob to look good, only when he stands out, he's a star. And that one is the high note, not this one. Honorable Professor, you are one of those kind people to introduce somebody younger than you. Thank you very much. I'm trying to avoid to read the speech because, let me start the way it is written. On the 4th of February, to be precise, 2 days ago, we commemorated the first anniversary of the passing of our beloved President, His Excellency Dr. Hage Gottfried Geingob. Today, we have gathered here again, only this time not with hearts full of grief, but rather with much appreciation for a life well lived in the service of Namibia and humanity. As chronicled in the book, Whispers of Freedom, the political Odyssey of Hage Geingob, which we are launching now. The Whispers of Freedom, the political Odyssey of Hage Geingob. I am therefore deeply honored and in the same vein humbled for yet another opportunity to share in the celebration of the life of Comrade Dr. Hage Gottfried Geingob. The life accounts of leading political leaders of our time have become integral parts of the history of our country. In this context, our founding president, Dr. Sam Nujoma, released his autobiography, Where Others Wavered, in 2001. Also, our former president, Dr. Hifikepunye Pohamba, released his autobiography, Footprints of Hifikepunye Pohamba, in 2024. And now, in 2025, we are launching the biography of Dr. Hage Gottfried Geingob, written by Dr. Audrin Mathe. Dr. Audrin Mathe, stand up. You have made history, my friend. You can now sit down. All these accounts are valuable for documenting the journey of Namibia from pre-independence until present time, to build a common historical account of our liberation struggle from different perspectives, and to inform many generations to emulate the noble achievements while discarding, avoiding mistakes. In this way, history will truly become a teacher as we learn lessons from it that will help us improve our lives and those of all people in our society. Ladies and gentlemen, the book highlights the life story of Dr. Hage Geingob through the lens of Dr. Mathe's pen. It is a recollection of events and incidents concerning Dr. Geingob's political life, persona, and vision within the context of Namibia's liberation struggle and the post-independence nation-building program and project. As such, it is not merely the story of one person, but the story of all Namibians and their quest for freedom, independence, and self-governance. Through it, we learn of Dr. Geingob's persona, including kindness, generosity, selflessness, commitment to his people, love for them, and great contribution to Namibia's nationhood. The book also touches on President Geingob's behind-the-scenes decision-making style, discipline, composure under fire, and a sense of humor. I had the privilege to familiarize myself with the book, which in some instances evoked memories of my own interaction with Dr. Geingob. However, we all will remember Dr. Geingob's impact on our lives from different individual and subjective perspectives. President Geingob was a truly larger-than-life personality. If one can use one of his own words, he was an extraordinary personage. He has such massive commanding presence, from which his distinctive charisma emanated to touch everyone around him. This made him a transformative, natural leader. When you are in the presence of Dr. Geingob, you know that you were in the presence of a special personality, a powerful, highly intelligent personality. Yet, his mood could change the slightest irritation. Among others, as the old adage goes, Dr. Geingob was a man who did not suffer fools. Therefore, it became difficult to capture within 132 pages the entire complex life journey of President Geingob. As a result, some may not agree with the fact that the author have not incorporated their engagements with Dr. Geingob. But doing so would be impossible for any author. And the purpose was not to incorporate other people's views, but to incorporate Dr. Mathe's understanding and views of Dr. Geingob. Yes, I still have 10 pages to read. Just be patient. Ladies and gentlemen, the book Whispers of Freedom is a brave initiative of Dr. Mathe, sketching the political life and times of a very complex personage. It is his account for which we should applaud him. It is absolutely worth reading to gain insight on Dr. Geingob's political journey, especially to the defining moments which shaped much of SWAPO's political direction during the liberation struggle and that of post-independence government of Namibia. Therefore, let us support this endeavor wholeheartedly. In conclusion, this is what you have been waiting. Dr. Mathe, as you have experienced, writing a book is not easy, and definitely not for the faint-hearted. So you are a brave guy. Big congratulations on your completion of this strenuous project and the successful book launched tonight. I wish you many more years of fruitful writing. This one will wait when the book is being launched there. Thank you very much for your understanding and your patience.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, our President. At this juncture, I would like to invite our third former First Lady and maybe the whole item to come over to join the President for cutting of the ribbon. And I'll ask Amos to assist in that process. You see, I did not have the courage to invite the President here, but I have now the power to keep him here. So, Common President will move. about to come to the end of our program, then we will allow you to enjoy the food. At this juncture, I would like to ask for our performer to come up now for another performance, maybe one or two. While you continue to have your meals, we'll ask the performer to come up. I'm told the performer is not available now. She went to change into another attire. In the interest of time, I'll ask Dr. Mathe to come and do a note of appreciation while she can do the performance at a later stage. Dr. Mathe?
Good evening. Good evening again. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Your Excellency, Former President, Deputy Prime Minister, Speaker, floor on the stage, ladies and gentlemen. I know we are about to eat, but I think it's necessary for me just to appreciate all the guests that have come. At one moment, I was very sure of 5 people who would be here tonight, irrespective. One was President Mumba. He was going to be here no matter what. Floor 3, I knew she was going to be here. Then all the table, the Geingob family were going to be here, and my table over here. When we saw that we should actually prepare for 600 people, then I realized it's not just the people that I mentioned now that has a love for President Geingob. It's really all of us. In addition to that, Comrade President, we have 11 people who come from other countries, from Zambia, Botswana, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. Can I just ask you, colleagues, my friends, to stand up so people can see you? So it's here. Yes. Thank you so much. The background to this, why they have come, on the 4th of February, we were together with them in Stockholm, celebrating my belated birthday, and the news found us there with them. They have come to join for my birthday party. When that happened, that evening was cut short. We went, I came back that Sunday back to Windhoek. They stayed the next morning, they took the flight. So when they heard about the fact that we're launching the book now, they said, we're going to be there when the President's book is launched. That's why they are here. I'm honored to stand before you this evening, not only as author of the book, but a chronicler of life that has profoundly shaped the political and social landscape of Namibia. The journey of this book spans more than a decade, marked by conversations, reflections, and a deep desire to capture the remarkable story of a man whose life embodies the ideals of freedom, justice, and leadership. The inspiration to write this book was born seemingly in ordinary moments, but one that carried great significance. About 10 years ago, I met with President Geingob over breakfast. Commissioner Geingob is here. He was sitting having breakfast, then he says, "Oh, the President is having breakfast, maybe you want to join him." When I did that, I didn't know that the conversation would actually lead us tonight. This was 2012. He was talking about the documentary that I had produced for television to mark his 60th birthday. That program is titled Geingob, Son of the Soil. So he was talking about how he loved that program. At that moment, I suggested to him that we actually follow up with the written account so that many people would have access to it. We agreed to revisit this conversation after the SOPO Congress, which was coming that November, December. However, as often life does, time passed so quickly, it wasn't until 2020 that conversations began earnest. To his credit, he granted me full access to his life and experiences. I spent several hours at his residence where he and his dear wife, they would serve me breakfast, lunch, and dinner all in one day. What was remarkable was his insistence that this ought to be my account. He never attempted to influence my perspective or censor my findings about what I was hearing, both from him and those that I have spoken to. Every assignment in the book is sourced either from him or someone I have spoken to, or a written document, or my own experiences having worked for him before when I was Prime Minister. While I'm the author of Whispers of Freedom, this book would not have been possible without the contributions of many individuals. I'm deeply grateful to the founding president, whose recollections of SWAPO and President Geingob's participation in it added valuable contribution and context to the book. Also, President Mbumba, a long-time friend of the president, played a critical role in fact-checking the dates, the places, the names of people. And I'll speak about President Mbumba a bit later. But this moment that I will never forget, I had given a manuscript to then Vice President Mbumba to say, Comrade Vice President, is this? President says it's this, but he thinks you must double check it. When I go to his office, he was sitting there with a big red pen. Then I said, I have big trouble. If a teacher calls you to his office, you are currently getting between 0 and 50%. And I wasn't willing to get a 50%. So he sat there and said, open your document. So he opened his as well. He said, no, union does not like this, it does like that. At the end of the meeting, then he said, now go and publish, your book is ready. After that, I went back to the president and said, okay, let's finish this thing you're doing now. But I must say that Vice President already saw this thing when he said it's okay. So why, if Mbumba said it's correct? So after that, again, another long friend of the president, Speaker of the National Assembly, Professor Katsibiri, again I gave him the manuscript. Professor, maybe there's something that President Mbumba missed here. Give me some comments on it. Again, he did the same thing. He actually wrote down his own comments on a paper for me to reflect. So I'm thankful to very many individuals who contributed to this, who gave their memories and insights about President Geingob. Their voices have helped paint a portrait that is multifaceted for Geingob as a leader, diplomat, administrator, and human being. Whispers of Freedom tells a story that spans decades. The beginnings with the president's formative years in Namibia, his departure into exile, his journey to the United States for education. It also chronicles his time as SOPO's representative at the UN and his pivotal role as union in Zambia. The book also discusses his return to Namibia in June of '89 and his leadership as SOPO's Director of Elections. Again, I discuss President Geingob's experience as Prime Minister his departure from government in 2002, his return to political leadership after that. It also explores his road to the presidency and reflects on his philosophy of governance and leadership. There are many lessons out of this book. One is humanity generally. On the 6th of December, we were traveling to Katima Mulilo. President Nyoma wanted something done urgently, but that something to be done needed the Minister of Finance to get involved. Guess who the Minister of Finance was? President Mbumba. He asked me, call Mbumba. Those were exactly words. Call Mbumba. So I tried. I couldn't reach him on the phone. After a while, I had to give Prime Minister now feedback that I couldn't find Mbumba. So I said I couldn't find him without saying who did this. Then he said, who? Then he said, Mbumba. Oh, he's also a friend. We also call him Mbumba. So, this was a lesson for me now that you don't exactly mirror the principal's ways because he relates differently to other people. So we were growing. On the 7th of December, Namibia was on that trip when we were in Katima. Dr. Simata was on that trip as well. I think Commissioner Janamo was on that trip. Deputy Prime Minister was on that trip as well. These town hall meetings, they actually didn't start 2015. They were always there when he was Prime Minister. So they had a town hall meeting in Katima. So a young man came to Dr. Simata and said, look, I want to see the Prime Minister. So he said, but what is it about? So he explained his story. So after the meeting, Dr. Simata whispered to the Prime Minister, this young man wants to see you. So we whisked it down to the car from the hall. Then he says, my name is Charles Sierra. You've funded my studies. That was the first time President Geingob heard that story, that he was actually paying for people he had never met before. Today, Charles Sierra is the Secretary General of the Namibian Football Association. December of what was happening was that please, I will hang up now, but call this number. Whoever answers, ask to speak to the Prime Minister. Geingob doesn't speak the Banana. So to her credit, she phones. Then she realized actually she's talking to the Prime Minister. She was apologizing profusely. She said, no, I understand. You're not expecting to hear from me, but I got your letter. I'll have someone get in touch with you to solve your issue. That is who President Geingob was in real life. But these things, they happen behind offices. You don't get to see most of these, but they happened quite a lot. Director of Ceremonies. This biography reflects the nature and leadership, the sacrifices required to pursue freedom and the challenges of nation building. I hope it will provoke readers to think critically about the forces that shape our society and the individuals who bear the weight of its leadership. I want readers to understand the personal dimension of public service, the triumph, the heartbreaks, and the relentless dedication it demands to manage a country. My goal is to inspire future generations to engage with history, participate in governance, and believe in the transformative power of leadership grounded in integrity and vision which President Geingob stood for. Like all authors, I have now reached a point where the book must stand on its own weight. As the saying goes, an author nurtures a book as a parent nurtures a child. once it is released into the world, it must find its own way. I hope that Whispers of Freedom will not only read, but will also spark conversations about Namibia's past, present, and the future. Mr. President, in my language we have the word Izona. This is an interesting word. It means yesterday, but it also means tomorrow. This is a true story. Izona means, it can also say Izona, you're talking about the past, but Izona meaning tomorrow. So this book, Comrade President, is about the past, but also about the future. I wish to extend my deepest gratitude to my tribe, Jennifer, Kimberly, Warren, Audrin Jr., for their unwavering patience and support during these long nights and intense days of writing. To my editors and designers who I hope they are here, I thank you for your meticulous work and thoughtful guidance. I also wish to thank the Ambassador of China, Zhao Weiping, I believe is not here, but his staff are here, for being the first ones ready to support this project. In the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation, Stanley Simino, MTC, Dr. Leakey, Namport, Andrew Kanema, the China Railway 7th Group, who have made this possible, that we're able to launch this book in this manner. And again, to my teammate, Amos, at some point we were thinking whether he should sell half of his farm so he can raise money for this evening. Because it was January, we know what January represents for most people, but really, through the sponsorship of those that have come on board, we're able to do this. Finally, to all of you here tonight, friends, colleagues, and fellow citizens, I'm deeply grateful for your presence and encouragement. Together we celebrate not just a book, but the enduring power of stories to illuminate our lives and shape our world. With that, I thank you.
I think he deserves more than that. As it was said, that's a very serious undertaking to write a book. He says he started in 2020. And I think the ideas were shaping even before 2020. I see he wrote about our trip one time to Katima, where he was a newcomer in President Geingob's office as Prime Minister. He forgot to take notes during question time of the citizens. And he thought he's a VIP decorating the chair. So when Prime Minister was now asking where are my questions so that I respond, he had no questions to give. So as a senior, I was there to rescue him. I see he took note of that in the book, he says so. So he should remain indebted to me for life, for saving us. I would like to invite our artist. I hope she's ready now. Yeah, there she is. Come on, my sister, and entertain us before we do the national anthem and officially close off.
Honor. I was just called let me say a month ago, and the task was upon me to compose a song that will be launched together with the book. So you'll be the first people to hear this song for our president. Enjoy. with wisdom in your voice and strength in your embrace. You're a wisdom of hope and a wisdom of freedom. You're my hero. Hero, hero, Dr. Hage Geingob. Hero, hero, Hage Geingob. You're a whisper of hope, whisper of freedom. You're my hero. From a father to a leader, husband to a brother, from a friend to a mentor, that's who you are. From a dreamer to a doer, protector to supporter, in every role you played, you remain my hero. From the music you danced to the football you enjoyed, your laughter so loud, a man like you forever treasured. You're a whisper of hope, whisper of freedom. You're my hero. Hero, hero, oh my hero. Hero, my hero, Dr. Hage Geingob. You're a whisper of hope and a whisper of freedom. You're my hero. From a brother to a leader, husband to a brother, friend to a mentor, that's who you are. From a dreamer to a doer, protector to supporter, in every role you played, you remain my hero. Dr. Hage Geingob, you remain our hero. Thank you.
Let's celebrate a legendary father. Land of the brave, in spite of the pain. Let's celebrate a legendary father. We welcome. We celebrate a legendary father. Hage Geingob. We celebrate your legendary father.
This was not part of the plan, and this is where I need you to help me. So my music is done, and the DJ is figuring out something. But for now, I'm just going to sing songs in remembrance of our president. Is that okay? Homdaguke, Homdavipai, Matsi, Wa, Timiratei, Homdaguke, Homdavipai, Matsi, Wa, I'm on my own. Wow, Namibia. I thought we were together. Oh, you are eating. I
We say, oh my care, well done. We celebrate your legendary father, Hage. We celebrate your legendary